So I just want to send out a super huge thank you to Elastoplast. Thank you so much for sponsoring us into our brand new bright red Herbal First Aid kit for our 100% by donation Herbal First Aid service that we run in festivals. How this little first aid kit from Elastoplast came around is that Jarman and I were on our way to Splendour in the Grass, and we stopped at Oxenford on the Gold Coast to buy some bandages. And of course we bought Elastoplast bandages because they're really good and we use them in our service. And we went in an entry and then they rang me and said we won. So I just couldn't think of anything nicer. Like there's this rack that they've given us as well, which fits our beautiful 1 litre bottles of medicinal herbal elixirs in it, which I'll go through with you. And I thought that I would go through our Herbal First Aid kit. If you're interested in Herbal First Aid to either run at your home or your work, if you want some training in it, if you want to talk to me, I'm very, very happy to help you. We have this service in Midigama in Sri Lanka at the Cocoa Plant Surfing, which is what Jarman runs for us in the summer. And then beautiful Gwen from Zentasha Atsu took some of the Herbal First Aid kit over to Jasri, to Shantiagung, where they run their retreats and their training for Zentasha Atsu. And we also run it at the Woodford Folk Festival, the planting, and whenever we attend an event. This is what we travel with. But usually we don't have this fancy first aid kit. But I just want to show you what they gave us. They gave us 2 of these, which are like just really great belts that we can take into singular events. So tomorrow night we're hosting one of our favourite bands, Oka, here in Maleny. And so we've just this morning kitted up this first aid kit. This is what we would take out into a one-night event. And this is the kind of thing that would be great for your car or your home or your office, wherever. So in here, the very first section, I've just got a pen. We use pens for if there's any cuts or it looks like there's any infection, we just circle around them so we can mark for tracking, just to stop cellulosis from kicking in or to know whether the inflammation, if the risk of infection's improving or getting worse. We just carry like 2 bandages for a night. When we bandage something, we never really use a full bandage when we're in an event. Like for example, tomorrow night with Oka, it's like in a festival or any of these environments where there could be mosh pit injuries, falling over, bruising, maybe a few cuts, maybe a few blisters, headaches. It's pretty well what we'll be dealing with tomorrow, if that. But we always have a vomit bag. These things are just great. You never know when someone's going to vomit. Just one of these in. And then we take in some gloves, of course, like if there's any, like really cuts, open wounds, we wear gloves. Of course, this is health and wellness for us as well. And then we have a pair of scissors, and we have our fantastic, we use organic pads, and I'll take about this many with me. And basically what we do is we cut them to size. So if it's going to be tiny, like a Band-Aid, we'll cut a tiny bit off and then we tape them. And of course we've got Elastoplast medical tape. These guys make a great mosh pit proof and also surf proof medical tape. It's not cheap, like it's about $13 a roll or something, maybe $15, but it's really worth it. But I'll show you how we do that soon. And then the magic of what we take in our Herbal First Aid kit, which is a little bit exciting. Herbal extractions, pure herbal extractions that we make. We have just little 50ml ones in here. Calendula, okay, I'll go through it with you. Calendula is really good for where the skin is broken, where there's a rash, where there's itchiness, where there's inflammation, anywhere where the skin is small cuts, anything like that. Also burns. We clean the wound with the calendula balm pretty well all the time. It's our favourite for cleaning wounds with. And how we do that this is our way of just trying to keep everything super simple. So we would take one of these or half of one of these, we'd get the calendula on it and we would wipe it over the wound and we would clean the wound. We also use calendula as a compress for anything that's itchy, broken skin, rashes, eczema, psoriasis, any inflamed condition like that. It's also super good in your mouth if anyone's got a toothache or any mouth ulcers or anything like that, blistering, it's perfect. The next one is hypericum, which is common name is St. John's wort. Hypericum is our number one go-to for motorcycle burns. We find that, I know, you might think, well, how are you going to get motorcycle burns at a gig in a venue? Well, you can. People can ride their motorbikes there and get burnt on the way, on their exhaust. Or people can arrive and they can be burnt, kitchen burns, like for example, people doing catering and people working in venues, burns. This is number one. If you have a burn of any sort, even sunburn, it's really beautiful. You would take, once again, one of these little pads, and I'll show you this one because this is really easy. So basically, see the herb goes on there, and then for example, there's a burn here, you just wipe it on. It's really easy. And then it instantly is cooling and soothing. Hypericum St. John's wort is our number one burn solution. Quite bad kitchen burns in restaurants and cafes, it's really, really good. And also sunburn, if somebody's hot, like if you've been out in the sun, you just beautifully wipe this across the skin if anybody's uncomfortable or hot, and it really makes a difference. It's really soothing as well. And we also use hypericum internally in our Herbal First Aid service. And I have some little cups here. I'm just going to show you what I do. So this is a 30 ml cup, and this is the hypericum. St. John's wort is a nervine. It's an antidepressant. It also works so beautifully as a pain reliever, and that's one of the reasons why we use it on burns. So I would take probably this much, which is about like maybe 20 mils of herb. Now you just have to check that people are not on any medications, like contraindicated to cardiovascular medications as well as antidepressants. And so I'm on no medication, so I will have this. I'll have a shot of hypericum. We call this leveling potion in our Herbal First Aid service. And whenever somebody comes in with their partner or their children, or anybody's not well and they come into the Herbal First Aid service, or if somebody's with them and they're the carer and they're really upset and they're nervous and they're panicking, we always give them a shot of hypericum, because it's the number one herb that will just really, really bring down your emotional body and support your nervous system super quickly. And because this is the hypericum that we make is in an aqua ethanol extraction, the active constituents have been extracted exactly to match the biochemistry of your body so that it works in this way. And the evidence base for that is you look at the commissionee in Europe, in Germany, and what they've done is they've actually found that this herb, hypericum St. John's wort, is as effective as antidepressants with less side effects. So it's a really good solution in Herbal First Aid. It's pretty well mainly the only one we give people internally in the Herbal First Aid service, unless they've got like a digestive issue or a food poisoning issue, which we'll get to in a minute. Aloe vera. Now, aloe vera is, once again, it's very cooling and it's very soothing, but it's also very sealing. And so what happens is if there's a split or a cut or broken and we get rid of the blood from it, aloe vera is just beautiful for the compress, and we usually mix it with comfrey, which is also in here, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the aloe vera is just so cooling, soothing, absolutely perfect on broken skin. It's just such a great herb to have in the Herbal First Aid kit. It's also really good for digestion. This is the one, like if you have food poisoning, if you feel as though you've got any food poisoning, this is another one that we give internally as well. So we'll give you a little shot of the pure aloe vera extract if there's any chance that microbes through food have got into your digestive tract, and if you've got that gurgling and you feel like you've got food poisoning coming on. And sometimes if people have been vomiting, this is another one that we give them. Turmeric, of course, turmeric. Turmeric is sealing, it is soothing, it is an antioxidant, it's immunomodulatory, it's just so perfect in our Herbal First Aid kit. This is another one, like if somebody thinks they've got food poisoning, if there's any inflammation, like this is severe inflammation, and this is our emergency internal medicine for severe inflammation. Like for example, if somebody has hit themselves quite close to the eye with like maybe a surfboard or a ball playing sport, or they've just hit themselves in some way, this is definitely a beautiful one to put on the outside because it will stop the infection from kicking in. And we also give it internally if there's inflammation. It's a great anti-inflammatory. The evidence base for this one is it's a COX-1 and 2 prostaglandin pathway inhibitor. So the evidence base for this beautiful, and same with ginger, it's got the same evidence base in your Herbal First Aid kit and in your life generally, is that they work as well as Celebrex and Vioxx and those functionally blocking anti-inflammatories that you get a prescription from your GP for. But we have this beautiful turmeric extract that we use that for, and in our Herbal First Aid service, if someone has had an injury where there's a lot of inflammation, we see a bruising coming up and what have you, we give them this internally as well as topically. And I have got in here as well comfrey, yay, symphytum. Comfrey extract externally is the only way we use comfrey extract in our herbal dispensary, and we're based in southeast Queensland. And so for us here, we're using beautiful local comfrey leaves. Everyone's garden can grow comfrey. Apparently you're supposed to grow it in your compost heap because it helps everything break down better and it's really nourishing. And so that would be the same in your body because it seals everything together in our body. And comfrey is it's called knitweed. It's one of its common names. It's really good. Love comfrey. And we use it topically anywhere where the skin is broken and split. We mix it with calendula, or we'll mix it with aloe vera, and we will put it on. And sometimes we'll just use pure comfrey. And I don't have any butterfly clips in my little first aid kit at the moment, but that's something that we also travel with. They're really, really good. And comfrey and butterfly clips, a magic combination. Arnica, #1 for inflammation, bruising, knocks, split, like when you, like I ripped my Achilles heel one year at Woodford, at the Woodford Folk Festival. I was dancing and I tore my Achilles tendon, and I basically fixed it with just pure arnica extract, compressed around it for 6 weeks, wearing boots the whole time, but still we did it. And arnica is very good for that. I've had people come to me with injuries where their eyes are closed and they're very swollen around the eye, like coming into a black eye. Arnica applied and put as a compress overnight is absolutely fabulous. It really brings the inflammation down super fast. Nothing brings the inflammation down as fast as arnica does for where the skin is not broken. And who else have I got in here? I think that's it for now. I try kind of change our little Herbal First Aid kit depending upon what's going on. Turmeric, yeah, I think I've told you about them all. I have for the ones that are here, but we sometimes bring other ones. All right, so we also travel with our hot spray, and our hot spray is a hot herbal recovery spray, and we've extracted the herbs ginger, chili, arnica, comfrey and wormwood with the essential oils of camphor, wintergreen, spearmint and peppermint and ginger. This is hot, it's warm, it's deep muscle recovery. So if you've got after sports injuries, or if you've got anywhere where there's inflammation or there's pain, this is really good for spines, all sorts of joints, all the joints in your body, all of your muscles in your body. It's absolutely fantastic. Spray it down the base of somebody's spine if somebody's got any kind of pain in their spine, but they're still functioning and they're still moving. It's really good around the shoulders, especially down the scapula and through the rhomboids and coming down through the trapezius. The trapezius muscle is a huge muscle. And so like spraying it and massaging it through the back in our Herbal First Aid service, yes, we do this. It's 100% by donation, but if you come and see us and you've got really sore shoulders, or if you've got tennis elbow, or if you've got some RSI risk, chronic injury that's really inflamed because you're somewhere where we are, we will use this for it. And we'll probably also massage in some chili balm. That's chili, hypericum, gotu kola, black pepper and basil. We might even use some of our arnica, comfrey and lavender herbal skin balm on it as well. But I'll just show you, this is really beautiful. Like this is our chili balm, and it smells like basil and black pepper because they're the essential oils that are in it, and it's super delicious. The other thing that if you've got sore muscles, arnica is really cooling, and of course we use arnica in the first aid kit all the time, but peppermint and chamomile is really, really good. Peppermint, if anything, helps. This is it here. It's so delicious. It smells like peppermint and chamomile because that's what it is. And we use this one. Feet, like the amount of people who get blisters on their feet and have foot injuries, and when you're in a festival or in